So we spent the last 3 years, planning and, the amount of emails and applications, civic centre visits that we done to try and get this place. Where that stairway is, there's a door and it goes in behind these garages, massive car park. The idea was to obviously turn that derelict space into Alliance Dance Unit's charity headquarters, so we would have office spaces, the dance studio, everything all under one roof. And the tower blocks have many little nook spaces like just underneath them that aren't being used and haven't been used for like maybe the past 10 years or longer. To think that, maybe I wasted all of my time doing that, it's very, it's very disheartening to say the least, because you put in all that effort. Council said in the end that it would take £2 million just to, make that space suitable for a dance centre, which I don't know how they came to that figure. But so this was the space here, and it's literally just sitting empty still. I don't know what they're doing now with it. So I don't know if you can see in there, but this is the space. Obviously they're doing something, because if you look here, there's wood being cut. I think they're just using it for the renovations of the tower blocks, because obviously, I can see a sign that says Fraser House. Obviously this is a prime little space to do your work in, etc. But look at the space potential in there. That would have been, obviously the ceilings aren't high, but they're high enough probably to do what we wanted to do in there. This is where we begun, like when we first started doing work with the Brentford Towers Residents Association and stuff like that. This is where it all begun on the Haverfield estate. This is the ethos. Like, if it's going to be anywhere, it needs to be here. Like, it shouldn't be anywhere else. And I just don't know why we can't work out a way to make it happen. Like, it might cost a lot of money, but my frustration is, why aren't we sitting down to have these conversations about, we shouldn't be saying that it's going to cost too much. We should be saying, how can we get the money to make that happen? It's a terrible waste of space, and I actually heard now that they might want it for flats. So obviously I can see why they would probably prefer that decision, because it probably benefits their revenue. But if you see how built up Brentford's become, it's hard to know what direction it's going to be going in, because look here, for example, it's just building. It's becoming so built up, and although that might not bother some people, you can't help but wonder where the space is going to be for the recreational and artistic types of people like ourselves. People don't want to come together to achieve great things. They all want their name attached to something. They all want recognition, or backhanders and stuff like that, and it's just become very very shady, to say the least. That's just my honest opinion. I'm not going to lie about it. I'm just going to tell you the facts, and to me that is the facts. All I care about is like our charity getting a permanent space. That's my absolute number one priority, like getting the mirrors, getting the lighting in there, getting the mats, getting all the things that people have been asking for and that people need to develop and thrive their artistic abilities. That's my number one priority, keeping people out of trouble, out of harm's way. It's not about just keeping people out of crime and like gun and knife crime and that. It's also about keeping people out of the streets so that they don't get mixed up in bad situations to begin with, and stopped by the police, etc. If we could just kind of bridge the gap, which is what we're trying to do, and get people to listen a little bit more, then I think Brentford and London Borough, Hounslow and West London on the whole would have no problem in building a better tomorrow for the community on the whole. Brentford's on the rise as well. It has so much potential, and it just feels like we're not getting much of that, to be honest. We're not getting much of that, not much of that recognition or leeway, and it's a shame, because it's our 10th year anniversary this year, and here we are just talking about the same old crap all the time, the same old issues. I don't like going on like a broken record, because it just doesn't make you feel very good. And I ain't gonna, bash the council repeatedly, because there are departments within the council that are actually very, helpful. But it's just the departments that aren't helpful, or the departments that we need the support of. It's not really well signposted, the centre, so a lot of people don't even know where we are. A lot of people get lost, and it would help if more signs were put up to say, Alliance this way, ADU this way, etc. And because the centre doesn't have any light, and you can't distinguish where it is and pick it out, so it'd be nice if it had some coloured lighting or something. During the day, when there's loads of cars parked here on the right, you have to stop here, dead in the road. So it's either stop here and put your hazard lights on, or pull up on here, up on this curb, which is obviously a tight squeeze. We've put a sign here just so that people can see where we are. Sometimes it gets torn down. We've had other signs that have been burnt or ripped, and this happens all the time, vandalised. It would help to, erect a proper sign that people can't vandalise. That would obviously help. But I was suggesting that if the gates were moved back slightly, and there was like a bay to pull up on with the car, that would, stop this issue. Can't be getting in people's way when they come speeding around that corner, and your car's sitting there. It's obviously going to result in frustration. So by pushing the gates back a little bit, I could pull up on there and be out of people's way. So I'm going to take you for a quick walk around the centre just to show you how certain parts of it are in disrepair. Things like this, rotting away, cupboards in desperate need of repair. Back in there, they don't shut anymore. So obviously it's a hazard because people keep walking into it and stuff like that, and it just doesn't shut like it's supposed to. So the fire escape is all rotting away, as you can see down there, which is very poor, to be honest. Look at that, all the rot. That shouldn't be like that. So you can see all the damage as well here. Places like this, it's like this pretty much all throughout the centre in different places. They just really move around. They're literally all like that, look. They all move. So someone has to really come in and sort that out. That's not hard to sort out. I don't know why it hasn't been done yet, to be honest. I mean, we'll do all of that, but we don't have that kind of power. People get angry when we do certain things, so now it's just like we come in, we operate and we leave. We want the power to be able to do stuff like that. We want the power to be able to, paint, bring it up to date, keep it clean, etc. But, until that power gets given, that's not going to change. They're not in the best, like if you look up there, it's not exactly in the best state, as you can see. Stuff like this, it's just not very pleasing on the eye. So, it's calling out for a repair. That's probably been like that for God knows how many years. And then coming outside, there's no form of timed lights or auto lights, so when you come out here at night, it's not bright at all. Obviously when I switch the outside lights on, and they do eventually come on. That one's supposed to come on as well, but it looks like it's blown, so all we've got is this one here. But as you can see, it's still very dark. So you could imagine if all those lights were on with LED energy saver bulbs, this centre would look a lot more less intimidating, if you like. So then coming through into the studio, you can get in. There's the whole thing about us moving our stereo equipment, lighting, air conditioning units, tripods, cameras, you name it, every single week with us. And then we don't have mirrors either. We haven't had mirrors in the whole time we've been here because we can't work out an agreement to get them in here. So I think the general plan was to have that radiator removed and go straight across those two back windows and put mirrors all along that wall, because if you look up here, these windows don't look out into anything, they just look out into nothing, just onto a brick wall, so they're not letting in any light, so you're not losing anything. This space really could be extended because we can't operate efficiently in the hall that we're in now. It doesn't fit everyone in at once, so when you've got like 40 odd students or more and they're all rehearsing in here, they don't have enough space. It gets very claustrophobic. So I mean, this wall here, for example, could quite easily be moved outwards into this space to provide more space for the students, and maybe we could have a partition wall going down the middle, so when you've got group A and group B, we can do different things simultaneously when we've got a show. So when we came here, it looked obviously somewhat similar. The boards were a bit more trashed and stuff like that. You had many different groups using it, and the thing about shared use spaces are not everyone has the same outlook. So what I mean by that is when you want something to look nice, someone else might not have that same philosophy as you, so things get damaged and people just, you know, can't stop touching what you have, basically. So there's been many times when we've done like this, for example, we've just redone all of this to make it look nice. It just displays what we're about, and it shows like all the different cultures and races, what we're made up of. So it shows the awards we've won, what we stand for, and who we've worked with. And you've got our awards going all down here, dating all the way back. We've got the progress chart. This is a new system we implemented, I think it was about a year ago, and it's just where we keep track of students' behaviour. It would be nice to, you know, have the kind of control where you know the things that you put up on the walls, the things you implement in the office, the things you implement in the studio with the speakers, the lighting aren't going to be touched, and things aren't going to be either stolen or broken. It's nice to know that if you set up a seating pattern, for example, ready for a rehearsal, it's nice to know that that's not going to be touched because no one else is going to be coming into the venue, but that's not the case with this place. We could set something up and it's all going to be moved again by the next day, let alone the next week. So there was a leak in here as well, which has been fixed from my understanding. That was here somewhere, and there was a massive flood on the floor. So that happens every time someone goes up on the roof and the tile gets broken, it leaks. So there's all that as well. But if we had better storage facilities here and we had more managerial control, we could set up systems that take card, for example. We could set up telephone lines and deal with our offices and stuff like that. So I guess the final word really is where we go from here, because we've been here for about over 4 years now, and not a lot has changed since we've been here, and we're trying to run an award-winning service in unaward-winning environments, basically. So I know it's a harsh thing to say, but it's reality, to be honest. If we had the mirrors, we had the fixed lighting, we had places to put our aircon. I mean, like, we don't even have places to put our paperwork and filing and new contracts and this, that and the other. Even show props, we have to hire storage facilities, our space station, that's these guys actually. And we have to hire that because we've got nowhere to put it. So we're talking about a room that's probably about as big as, from those red doors to where I'm standing now. And in that unit is hundreds of items of clothing, you know, performance props, you name it, it's all in that storage unit. So when we've got a show coming up or a local event, we have to go all the way to the storage unit, try to work out and pick up what we need, cart it back, we might forget something, got to go all the way back, and then obviously it closes at certain times, so it's not very convenient. So you could imagine the stress that would get rid of if we had that on site and we were able to just go into a room. It would have our props and costumes in there, go into another room, I'm able to edit a mix or edit a video. You're talking about having the props in one place, your music and video editing software is in another place, then keeping your stereos and aircon equipment and lighting in another place. If it was all under one roof, then Alliance Dance Unit would be able to really broadcast its wider spectrum and, you know, I guess build up on what we're already doing. And that's all we're asking for, is help from the council at this stage to bring that to fruition and make that dream a reality, because we're here, we have the platform, we've built up a massive name in the community, and I feel we're quite well respected as well, so I'm humbled about that, and we're obviously grateful to have the support of the community. Now we need the support of the council, because without that, obviously we're not going to move on, so that's what we're looking for in 2020.